Thank you, Chairman sir.
एक्साइज पॉलिसी के बारे में आपको मालूम है पूरा देश में सब स्टेट्स अलग अलग स्टेट्स में क्या हो रहा है. That is becoming main revenue, unfortunately.
Thank you, Chairman sir. As per the prison statistics 2018, out of the total 4.66 lakh conviction under trials in Indian prisons, 33.5% were OBCs, 20.7% were scheduled caste, 11.6% were scheduled tribes, and 18.8% were Muslims. Sir, over the last 20 years, as many as 1,888 custodial deaths were reported across the country. Out of these custodial deaths, 1,185 or 63% were those persons who were arrested but yet to be produced before the court. On the other hand, only 26 policemen have been convicted during this period as per NCRB data. This presents, sir, a grim picture of the Indian prisons. Sir, as per the NCRB data 2019, 7 out of 10 people in prisons were under trial prisoners. The reasons why most of the prisoners belonging to OBC, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and minority communities is because they are too poor to arrange for personal bond or even securities from someone to secure bails, and the lack of competent and adequate legal representation. Not surprisingly, sir, it is the prisoners from these communities who form the major part of the victims of custodial death. With only 26 policemen convicted over the past 20 years, when there are the 1,888 custodial deaths, the question arises, who will punish the law enforcers? Through you, Chairman Sir, I urge the government to kindly step in and introduce reforms that fix the liability of police officers, bring them to justice and provide for monetary compensation to the victims' families. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Honorable members, I have to make an announcement on my behalf and on behalf of the honorable members of the House. I have great pleasure in welcoming His Excellency Mr. Wolfgang Sobotka, President of the National Council of Austria, and Her Excellency Ms. Christiana Schorowaz, President of the Federal Council of Austria, and other members of the parliamentary delegation from Austria who are on the visit to India as our honored guests. They arrived in India on Sunday, 13th March 2022, and are now seated in the special box. The delegation visited Agra yesterday and will be visiting Hyderabad before their final departure from India on Thursday, 17th March 2022. We wish them a happy and fruitful stay in our country. Through them we convey our greetings and best wishes to the National Council as well as their Federal Council of Austria, the government and the friendly people of the Republic of Austria. Honorable members, we had a Business Advisory Committee meeting today. It was agreed upon after discussion that development of Northeastern region, tribal affairs, railways, labour and employment are the 4 subjects or demands of grants of the respective ministries. They will be taken into consideration for discussion in this part of the session, and each of these demands have been allocated 4 hours. And if necessary, if the members so wish, they have to sit extra time in the evening so that they can also participate in the discussion. Whoever is asking to include their names, they will definitely get time, but after the scheduled time is over. I have already advised the Deputy Chairman also to be liberal and give opportunity to the honourable members in this regard. And not only the Deputy Chairman, whoever is panel chairman at that time. Consideration and return of appropriation bills relating to following demands after they are passed by Lok Sabha. supplementary demands for grants 2021-22, excess demands for grants for the year 2018-19, 4 hours to be discussed together. General discussion on the budget of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir for the year 2022-23, consideration and return of appropriation bills are the following demands after they are passed by Lok Sabha. Supplementary demands for grants, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir in financial year 2021-22, demands for grants of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir for the financial year 2022-23. They will all be taken up together and 4 hours time has been allocated. Consideration and passing of the appropriation relating to demands of grant 2022-23 after it is passed by Lok Sabha. Consideration and return of the finance bill 2022 after it passed by Lok Sabha. They will be taken up together and they have been allocated 4 hours time. The committee also recommended that the sitting of the House fixed for Thursday, the 17th March 2022 may be cancelled because of Choti Holi. On request of the members. Special mentions permitted. Dr. Santanu Hussain. One has to read. In 0 hour, no reading, explaining, but here.
A notice recently issued by the Undergraduate Medical Education Board of the National Medical Commission has created a lot of confusion amongst the medical fraternity. It is a long-standing practice to take a Hippocratic oath after passing MBBS. But it seems that the said notice says that in the future, instead of taking the Hippocratic oath, they would be taking the Chorok oath. The age-old practice of the Hippocratic oath should not be stopped suddenly. Ayurveda doctors should continue taking the Chorok oath. At the most, it might be kept optional for doctors of all systems of medicine instead of making it mandatory, as it would hurt the prevailing sentiment.
Thank you. Dr. Amar Patnaik.
So I rise to make a statement on the demand for reduction of GST on health insurance policy for senior citizens. So India's health system has been put to severe test during the COVID-19 pandemic. As per the NITI Aayog recent report titled Health Insurance for India's Missing Middle, around 30% of the population, that is 40 crore Indians, are devoid of any health insurance. Under the Ayushman Bharat, PMJY and the various state government schemes, only the bottom 50% of the population is covered. The remaining 20% of the population is covered through social health insurance and private voluntary health insurance, primarily designed for high-income groups. Studies indicate that senior citizens are some of the most underinsured groups, with only 15% health cover buyers in the age group of 60 to 80. Presently, a standard 18% GST is applied on insurance premium. As the age of the insured gradually increases, the cost of financial protection from medical risks also increases. At age 75 and above, individuals roughly pay rupees 6,858 as 18% GST as compared to rupees 4,116 between age 61 to 65. The Supreme Court in the Bandhua Mukti Morcha versus Union of India 1997 held that the right to health as a part of citizens' fundamental rights is to be interpreted as social security from disease and assistance in times of sickness. Therefore, to provide relief to our senior citizens, it is necessary to reduce the existing GST rates on health insurance policies from 18% to 5%, or exempt senior citizens from any GST on purchase of health insurance. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. V. Sivadasan.
Sir, development of Kannur Airport is the matter. The Kannur International Airport is the newest airport in Kerala, and we expect positive intervention from the government of India to expedite its progress. The airport has great potential for growth, and it should be granted the point of call status urgently. At present, foreign carriers have no right to operate from the airport. It has severely affected the development of the airport. Therefore, the Kannur International Airport should be opened up for foreign carriers. Another urgent requirement is the permission for Hajj embarkation. The airport should also be included in the ASEAN Open Skies policy. which would help foreign carriers from ASEAN countries to operate to Kannur. The tank would help foreign carriers from Malaysia and Singapore to operate to Kannur. The government should consider these matters and make required action so that the Kannur airport can operate at its full potential and contribute to the economic progress of the country. Thank you, sir.
Kannur airport is functional, now international.
Yeah, international airport for
functional,
functional, but we are requesting for embarkation, Hajj embarkation, and second one, point of call status. And the government, another request is government should allow the international carriers the Kannur, for the Kannur International Airport. This is our request.
They are not permitted the foreign carriers.
Can't sit while sitting. Dr. Fauzia Khan.
Sir, during the pandemic, we understood the relevance of continuing with the critical infrastructure in the health sector. Sir, HLL Life Care is one of the PSUs under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and played a pivotal role in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic as a nodal agency of the government. So the government of India has decided to sell off this profit-making PSU. And this PSU became a successful venture because the state of Kerala contributed 19 acres of land free of cost, sir. So the Kerala government had requested the government of India to stop the disinvestment and the sell-off. And if at all they are very particular about sell-off, they should hand over this PSU to the Kerala government. Sir, recently we also had taken over one of the central PSUs, that is Hindustan Newsprint. Now the government of India has come up with a strange reason that they will not hand over this central PSU to state governments. I demand that the government withdraw this very strange reasoning and should permit the Kerala government to take over the Hindustan Life Care Unit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. These special mentions, whatever is given in the notice, they should be read. I am repeating again for convenience of the members who are not understood it. Sri Vijay Sai Reddy. Issue has been raised by members in due hour. What are the additional points you want to say?
Sir, Chairman, sir, at the outset, I applaud the government's initiative to evacuate stranded Indians from war-torn Ukraine, but it is concerning that more than 20,000 of these Indians are students pursuing medical education in Ukraine, and in the light of the ongoing conflict, the fate of their education hangs in balance.
and minority representation. The data shows that since 1950, there have been only 5 scheduled caste judges, namely Justice K. Ramaswamy, Justice K.J. Barla Krishnan, and B.C. Roy, A. Varadarajan, and Justice B.R. Gowai. And recently, Justice Sivakumar was appointed in the Supreme Court after 2 decades from the scheduled caste. The National Commission for Scheduled Castes, in its 2016 report on reservation in judiciary, states that as of 2011, there were only 24 judges belongs to SC, ST, against a total of 850 judges in all the 21 high courts. Moreover, 14 out of the 21 courts did not have a single SC or ST judge. This is my humble request that this issue is to be immediately corrected via legislature.
Thank you. Right. Sri Muhammad Nadimul Haq, medical education.
For allowing me. Sir, the Russia-Ukraine conflict has exposed the inefficiency plaguing the Indian medical education system, as the sheer number of Indian students pursuing medical education abroad has become apparent. Medical education in India is unaffordable and competitive, forcing aspirants from lower and middle income families to pursue medicines in countries where it is cheaper and less competitive. The fee charged in India on average ranges from 14 lakhs in government colleges to about 60-70 lakhs in private colleges. Additionally, sir, it is alleged that the qualifying marks for NEET are kept low at 19% to expand the pool of students who can afford fees as high as 1.25 to 1.5 crores. This acts as a filter, forcing poorer but meritorious students to seek education abroad, following which they are required to appear for the foreign graduate medical exam to practice medicine in India. Sir, with this thought in mind, I earnestly urge the government to take expeditious measures to to revamp the country's medical education infrastructure and make it more responsive to the needs of the common man.
Right, thank you. Sri Vinay Viswam. Vinay Viswam, special mention, difficulties faced by workers in the right of disinvestment of PSU.
Workers of the country are facing
Zero hour, sorry. 0 hour. See, whenever I exhaust the names after they complete their submissions, if there is still time available, I started the practice of taking the remaining this thing. In taking the remaining names, there is a problem. Certain people have given notice about issues, for example, which can be discussed now in the appropriation bill. So the same thing, you cannot take it up in 0 hour. Keeping that in mind,
Thank you very much, sir.
please.
It was a generous approach from you. We all appreciate it. I'm grateful to you. Sir, the matter I raised was regarding the workers' issue of this country. No doubt they are the wealth creators. The government often talk about the wealth creators. We believe the wealth creators are not the super rich. The real creators of the wealth are the workers and the peasants. So the workers in India are faced with a lot of problems. Their living conditions are going down. The labor codes affected them very badly. Sir, in this situation, we are facing a situation that the PSUs of the country are put on sale, all of them. Sir, the country always hear the government talking a lot about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. But that government is inviting the FDI to come and conquer India's own industries and establishments. In this situation, the most affected group are the workers. So they are forced to go for a strike on 28th and 29th of March. So this strike is a national strike. It is for the country's future, for the upliftment of the common masses. It is for the cause of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So with this in mind, I know very well that the BMS also have, even though not party to the strike, even they also
to make point whether it is
they also share the views.
That's okay. So what?
Share the views. So I request the government urgently to intervene and to have a talk with the
issue is a very big issue in Tamil Nadu. We have raising many times in the House that Karnataka government has come forward to construct the Meghadadu Dam. Because if they are constructing, it is going to affect Tamil Nadu farmers. And also, there is Supreme Court already given a decision. They must not construct any new dams, anything, without consent of the other states like Kerala, Pondicherry, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. When that is the case, how can the state
both coming into India and going out of India. And therefore, I think the pricing issue is something that the market will certainly take into account by itself.
Second supplementary.
Chairman, during the last 2 years of pandemic, thousands of employees from aviation sector have lost their jobs. Not only aviation sector, but ground handling employees also, the workers who work or come from the downtrodden society. They have also lost their jobs. And because of this, thousands of families, literally they are on road and they are pinning all hopes on the government. May I know from the Honourable Minister, is there any move? First of all, they should be, all those jobs who have been lost, they should be restored. And they are pinning hopes on the government. What exactly steps are being taken by the government to see that airlines, did they have talks with the airlines and made any attempt, or are they contemplating to have this kind of measure which would restore the jobs of the employees who
both coming?
Reply, please.
Madam, the member has rightly pointed out that the civil aviation sector should not be into India and going out of India on airlines. And therefore, I think the pricing issue is something that on the whole ecosystem will certainly. And the ecosystem, as the member has rightfully pointed out, includes ground handling, includes cargo,
during the last 2 years of
FTOs,
pandemic,
flying training
thousands
organizations,
of
includes
employees
MROs.
from aviation department,
And
aviation sector
as we have been
lost their jobs.
seeing
Not
that
only
this is
aviation
a very
sector, but ground
a
handling
sector which has
employees
been
also,
affected
workers
very,
who
very
work
deeply
or
on an
come from the
economic
downtrodden
front.
society.
Globally,
they have also lost
it
their
is a sector
jobs.
which has been affected the most
because of this,
in terms of
thousands
its
of
economic
families,
output
literally they are on
and in
road and
terms
they are
of
pinning
its
all hopes on the
profitability.
government.
Having
May I
said
know from
that,
the Honourable Minister,
it is also a sector
is there
which
any move?
has
First
bounced
of all,
back
they should be all those
with
jobs who have
equal
been lost, they
amount
should be
of
restored.
growth.
And
As soon as
they are pinning hopes on the
COVID
government.
one wave and then COVID
What
two
exactly
wave
steps are
and
being
now
taken by the
COVID three
government
wave
to see
have
that
petered out.
airlines, did they have
In the case
talks
of
with the airlines
COVID-2,
and
we
made any
had
attempt,
brought back this
or
sector to
are they
100% capacity
contemplating
on the
to have this
18th
kind
of
of
October.
measure, which
And I am
would
pleased to
restore the
report to
jobs
the
of the
House
employees who have
both
lost
that pre-COVID our maximum number of passengers in India per day pointed out to about 4 lakhs. The civil aviation reached a level of 3.3 lakh going out per day on airlines in the month of December. And the price we were very well on our way back to recovery, roughly about 5 or 6% as the member has rightfully pointed out. But then includes Omicron came along. Ground handling had wave includes cargo.
During the last
and again,
2
I am
years of
pleased to report to the House today that
thousands
as
of
yesterday
employees
includes
from
numbers.
aviation department,
And
aviation sector,
as we have
have lost their jobs.
1,60,000,
Not
that
only
is
aviation
daily,
sector, but ground
a
handling
sector which has been
employees
from the
also,
pre-COVID
workers
level
who
of
work
on
come
an
from the
economic
downtrodden
post-COVID
society.
to level of globally.
They have also lost
it
their
is a
jobs.
sector which has been we have
And
yesterday reached the number of
because of this,
in terms of
thousands of
economic
families,
output.
literally
So
they
we
are
are looking
on road and
at
they are pinning all
a
hopes on the
resuscitance
government.
in this
May I know
sector,
from
and
the
with that
Honourable Minister,
resuscitance, it is also a sector
is there
which
any move?
has
First of
bounced
all,
back
they should
bound
be
in
all
terms of
those
with
jobs who have been
equal
lost,
amount
they
of
should be
growth.
restored.
As soon as
they are pinning hopes on the
COVID
government.
one wave and then COVID
What
two
exactly
wave
steps are
and
being
now
taken by the
COVID three
government
wave
to see
have
that
petered out.
airlines, did they have
In the case
talks
of
with
I would
the
like to
airlines
draw the
to
kind
made
attention
any
of our
attempt,
brought back the
Minister
sector
ground
to
reality.
are they
100% capacity
contemplating
on
So
the
far,
18th of
maintenance of
October.
COVID
which
protocol
would
at
Pleased
different
to report
airports
to the
is
House
concerned.
both that
Passengers have been
pre-COVID
asked to show their
maximum number of passengers
COVID
in India
vaccination
per day
certificate
pointed
at
out
some
to about
airports.
4 lakhs.
At some airports,
And
they
we
have been
reached
asked
a
to
level
show
of
their
not
COVID
being
report
India
of last
and going
24
out
or
of India
47
and the
hours.
month of December.
And at some
We
airports,
were
they are
very
asked
well
to
on our
ask
way
to
back
take.
to recovery.
So there
Roughly
is a
about 5 or
confusion
6
among
as the member has
passengers.
rightfully
My
pointed out.
request
But
and my
then
question before our
Omicron
learned
came
minister
along
is,
and we had
why
wave
don't we
flu,
bring
During the
uniform
last
again, I am
years of
pleased
all
to
the
report to the
airports
House
for
today that
thousands
as
of
yesterday
employees from
Madam,
aviation
to you and
department,
as we have
have
1
lost
lakh
their
members
jobs.
seeing
Not
that
only
is
aviation
a
sector, but ground
a
handling
sector which has been
employees
from
also.
the very, very deep
Work
lines
on
and
economic
post-COVID to level of global.
They have also lost
It is a
their
sector
jobs.
which has been, we have yesterday reached the number
Because
of
of this,
in terms of
thousands of families literally
so
they
we
are
are looking
on
at
road
also
and
resuscitance on the concurrent in this
May I
sector,
know from the
and therefore
Minister,
it is also a sector
is there
which
any
has
move?
bounced
First of all,
back
they
bound
should
in
be all
terms
those
with
jobs who have been
equal
lost,
amount
they
of
should be
hours
restored.
side as soon as COVID as one wave and then as far as we are concerned, and now COVID three wave. Health Ministry at the center issued the advisory. In the case of on the 10th, we went brought back saying that either you the passenger has October, either you upload a code in the house, both that from the past 72 hours on TS, maximum number of passengers in India upload your double vaccination 4 lakhs. And we reached a level of, and that should suffice. Subject to again, as I in the month I said, the state government very well on the state government must have that the what the rules but then that was Omicron came along and they had the again I have to in the house today that employees for you and because of COVID-19 as you're aware
even good results today.
They have also lost their jobs.
I would like to draw because of the attention and respect of the honorable minister.
We are looking at this time in the schedule therefore it is also
for example, my state Tamil Nadu coming to the point. For example, my state Tamil Nadu
as soon as
there are around
as far as we are concerned and now
which is a very important airport.
there is only one flight in the case of
there is only one flight in the morning and in the evening. Likewise, Madurai, Coimbatore to Thoothukudi.
from the past 72 hours on TS, rescheduling to be done double vaccination 4 lakhs.
After COVID-19, the economic function of the country definitely improve because the state provides the
Omicron came along and again I have to the house today that employees for you and
because of COVID-19
as you're aware
even good results today.
They have also lost their jobs.
I would like to draw because of the attention and respect of the honorable minister. It is time in the schedule is also for example, my state Tamil Nadu coming to the point. For example, my state Tamil Nadu there are around
as far as we are concerned and now
which is a very important airport. There is only one flight. There is only one flight in the morning and in the evening. Likewise, Madurai, Coimbatore to Thoothukudi.
from the past 72 hours
and rescheduling to be done double vaccination 4 lakhs. After COVID-19, the economic function of the country definitely improve because the state provides
Omicron came along and again I have to the house today that
employees for you and because of COVID-19
as you're aware
even good results today.
They have also lost their jobs.
I would like to draw because of the attention and respect of the honorable minister. It is time in the schedule is also for example, my state Tamil Nadu coming to the point. For example, my state Tamil Nadu there are around
as far as we are concerned and now
which is a very important airport. There is only one flight. There is only one flight in the morning and in the evening. Likewise, Madurai, Coimbatore to Thoothukudi.
from the past 72 hours
Rescheduling to be done double vaccination after COVID-19, the economic function of the country definitely because the state provides
Omicron came along and
Tamil Nadu, there are around 5 airports. And now very important airport. There is only one flight. There is only one flight in the morning and in the evening. Likewise, Madurai, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, there are around 5 airports. As far as aviation is very glad and now very important airport. There is only one flight in the morning and in the evening. Likewise, Madurai, Coimbatore, 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 Tamil Nadu, very nice around 5 airports. As far as aviation is very glad and now very important airport. There is only one flight. There is only one flight in the morning and in the evening. Likewise, Madurai, Tamil Nadu, very nice around 5 airports. As far as aviation is very glad and now very important airport. There is only one flight in the morning and in the evening. Madam, you can in the morning and in the evening. First in the railway too. And first in the state of Maharashtra. Madam, you can in the morning and in the evening. First in the railway too. And first in the state of Madam, you can in the morning and in the evening. First in the railway too. And first in the state of Madam, you can in the morning and in the evening. First in the railway too. And first in the state of